WLR's On The Ball.
With Maleven Honey. Start the new year with winning results. Honey is low in fat and high in energy. See Maleven.com.
And yes, a very good afternoon. You're very welcome to another busy On The Ball here on WLR. Good to be back with you. Thanks to Michelle Ryan and indeed Tomás McCarthy on Monday for holding the On The Ball shift. Waterford and Tipperary lock horns up there in Thurles tomorrow in the Alliance Hurling League. Former Dacia and Tipperary hurler Andy Maloney is live in studio. He'll also touch on a big day for Galtier tomorrow. He's involved with the Galtier Camogie team as they bid for All-Ireland glory against St. Rynagh's of Offaly up there in Croker tomorrow. Waterford football selector Frankie Ryan will also be in studio to look ahead to their National League clash against Carlow coming up in Fraherfield later this evening. Huge game for the Waterford Wildcats in the Women's Super League. They head to Marble City Hawks in Kilkenny for a 5pm tip-off. And Mark Phillips will mark your racing card. We'll also have the Premier League previews ahead of another busy weekend. Yes, indeed, a very good afternoon. Good to see a bit of sunshine out there after all this bad weather, of course. And if there is any further postponements, we will keep you posted on WLR. I just got a note as well in this morning from Pat Casey in the Western Board that tomorrow's under-20 football matches are scheduled to go ahead at the minute. They are currently monitoring the situation, but all the county GA local fixtures are under-20 and all the senior football league games and all football league games which were due to commence this weekend have been postponed due to the adverse weather conditions. And as you know as well by now, Waterford FC's clash with Sligo Rovers in the soccer as well. That's also postponed tonight due to the red alert issued for the North West. We're going to start with Gaelic Games and Andy Maloney joins us in studio now. Andy, how are things?
How are you doing, Gavin?
Not too bad now at all. Busy weekend, I suppose, for yourself. We might actually start maybe with the Camogie and the Galtier, of course, in an All-Ireland final. It is huge, and you got involved with the girls there, I think it was before Christmas, and 60 minutes away now from an All-Ireland final. You're enjoying the experience?
Yeah, sure, it's a great experience. They're a good bunch to train, I suppose. I've kind of involved them there since probably mid-October onwards, and I suppose they've trained very hard in tough conditions. The weather, as you mentioned there, hasn't been the best or the kindest to us, so we've been, I suppose, trying to get to a lot of the fields in the parish, I suppose, or in the area, to try and get around. And I suppose, in fairness to both Passage, Galtier and Ballygunner, they've facilitated as best they can, and the facilities have been top class. But the girls themselves have put their heads down. I suppose they realised themselves since the Munster final that they had a tough game to play against Clonduff to get over, and they done very well that day. But I suppose really it's all about tomorrow. And this time last year, I suppose they were kind of getting ready for the Clonduff game. It didn't go according to plan on the day. Got bet by the narrowest of margins, and hopefully tomorrow they can, I suppose, right that wrong.
10 points to 9 last year really was a bitter pill to swallow, but I suppose getting back there sometimes, Andy, can be the hardest thing, I suppose, isn't it, the following year? And to get over Clonduff in the semi-final, psychologically, that was huge.
It was, yeah, absolutely, and I think they showed a bit of resilience as well to be able to get back there for 2 years in a row, because, as we all know, it's very hard to get to an All-Ireland, but to get back there again a second time, it's a long journey again, and I think, look, we prepared as best we can. The girls are as ready as they're going to be, and look, it's going to be all on the day. They're going to have to go for it, and hopefully they'll come out the right side of that result.
Yeah, absolutely. St. Rynagh's from Offaly, I suppose, have been knocking on the door the last couple of years. I know you edged them out in the semi-final stages last year, so they've gone one better and they've qualified for an All-Ireland, so I'm sure they're looking at it as a big opportunity as well.
100%. Look, anytime you get into an All-Ireland final, it's 50-50, and it's a lot of it is on the day. And look, the weather conditions as well have a big bearing on the game, depending on what, as we know, with Croke Park, there's a swirling wind there, so it all depends on which team copes best with it. St. Rynagh's are a good outfit, and I know the girls, I think, beat them last year by 5 or 6 points, but I think the scoreline didn't reflect exactly how tight the game was. So, I think they know themselves they're going to be in a battle here tomorrow.
Absolutely, yeah. All underway at 1:30, and as I say, conditions are going to be cold, but I suppose a great experience for the girls as well to be able to play in Croke Park as well.
It is. Look, as I said, a lot of them have played there last year, so I think the experience side of it is kind of is wearing off them. They just want to try and get there, get the job done, and hopefully come home with the cup. To be, I suppose, a huge lift to the area. If to see a team coming home with an All Ireland Cup. And obviously the young ones as well in the area that play a lot of camogie. They've done a lot of work there, juvenile level, and they have big numbers there at the moment, training there most weeks, and it would be great for them to see, I suppose the players that they look up to, the likes of Donny Lings, Annie Fitzgerald's, to see them come home with the cup in their hand and for them to be there cheering them on,
Absolutely, yeah, second to none. And I know there's a nice blend, I suppose, throughout the panel. I know I was listening to Margot Heffernan and Kate Hannon on with Tomas last night, a great build-up programme, and I suppose even the competition for places, they were saying, amongst the squad, Andy, is pretty fierce.
Yeah, there is. I think there's a panel of 26, 27 players there, and obviously 15 can only play, but we always kind of, you see a lot of competition there for the first 20, because if you didn't have that competition, Gavin, is well known, no matter what team you're involved with, players, I suppose, get a little bit complacent and they sit back and rest on their laurels, whereas I don't think the girls have any of the girls who were afforded that this year, they know that they kind of have to perform when they go out there. And look, I think the other side of that as well is the girls are very, very supportive of one another as well, so if they don't make the team, generally speaking, they're supporting the girls that got in there ahead of them, but we kind of have everyone at the ready, so hopefully tomorrow things will go away. It's going to take 20 players to bring this over the line anyway,
Absolutely, yeah. Promises to be a great occasion. I know you're looking for plenty of support. I've no doubt the Blue and Navy roar will be heard in Croker tomorrow, Andy, and encouraging everyone to get up. I
think there's a good few buses travelling up anyway. Great. I suppose there's something that we can't, I suppose we don't worry too much about, really, to be honest. Like the supporters will turn up as they've done in the other games, and as the club has run a couple of buses from the local area here as well. So look, all the players have to do is concentrate on their own games, get themselves right, and come out with a performance tomorrow that'll obviously achieve what their ultimate goal was, to get up the steps.
Absolutely, yeah. It would be huge, as you say. It is the kind of rock bed for Camogie in the county, very strong at underage, and now at senior level, if you could get up those steps tomorrow, to be a fairy tale story, really.
Yeah, sure. Look, it's wicked encouraging to a lot of the other Camogie clubs, because there's a lot of work going on in Camogie and Waterford. I was lucky enough to be manager of the Waterford team nearly 10 years ago now, nearly 11 years ago now, and we got to 2 All-Irelands in a row with a team, and unlucky not to win. We were well beaten in one of them, unlucky not to win the second one, and they did win it on the third bite, so since then, really, Camogie has come up in leaps and bounds. There's clubs after farm, new clubs after farming, and probably a few more farm in the next couple of years, and that's only a positive, really,
Absolutely, indeed, yeah. Well, it's all underway. 1:30 in Croke Park tomorrow. Galtier against St. Rynagh's of Offaly in the All-Ireland Intermediate Final, so we wish you well on that score. Thanks, Andy, and the girls, indeed, from all of us here. I suppose all roads as well lead to Thurles tomorrow afternoon. Waterford and Tipperary locking horns in our George Corbett Skoda big match, round 5 of the Alliance Hurling League. Former Water defender Shane Ryan is going to make his National League debut for the hurlers. 5 changes in total. Stephen O'Keefe, Mikey Carney, Peter Hogan and Desi Hutchinson all return to the starting 15 for Liam Cahill's side. He's coming up against his former teammate Andy and Liam Sheedy. You're obviously familiar with both counties, having played with him, and indeed both managers, so I suppose there's a bit of intrigue and interest going into this one tomorrow. Absolutely. I think I suppose the first thing that stands out is both teams have been that are fielded are fairly strong. I think Tip will definitely need to win anyway, because they've lost the last few outings out. I know they beat Westmead. I know they beat Westmead now, but they will be going all out for the win. So they fielded a fairly strong team. But again, on the Waterford side of things, very strong team out as well. So it's going to be an exciting game. Waterford played their best hurling. I've always said it. Waterford played their best hurling in Semple Stadium. And I know over the last couple of years they've been talking about going to Nolan Park for these matches and what have you. Semple Stadium is the best is the best field, where Waterford kind of nice bit of wit on it as well, and the lads can actually expose a lot of weakness in the opposition backline. So I'd be looking forward to seeing how the Waterford backs get on against the Waterford forward gets on against Tipperary backs tomorrow. Pádraig Manny, I see, is at number 11 there. He'll be pulling the strings from that position, and you have Stephen Bennett, who's going very well at the moment, playing a full forward. It would be good to see Desi Hutchinson getting going, because I think the wide open space of Thurles should suit him. Sometimes I feel, when you do play in Welsh Park, it's a little bit tighter than most other fields, but there's also that little extra bit of pressure that you're in your home ground and you have to play. And I think that kind of goes a long way towards that happens Tip a lot, when they do play in Semple Stadium. Even though they love the pitch and all that, there is that little bit of pressure that, they're at home, they're expected to win, so it'll be an intriguing game between the two sides. I see the Tree McGraths are actually on for the Tipperary side, so I'd expect Desi Hutchinson to be marking Brian McGrath, who'll be, I think, probably making his debut there tomorrow for Tipperary. So
I'd expect Desi to be able to have the legs on Brian. You know, he's a very good hurler, and that might be a little bit susceptible or suspect on the foot on a straight
pace side of things.
Yeah,
suppose,
on the pace side of things. Yeah, straight race there between himself and Desi. So you'd be hoping that Desi would come out on top there. But generally speaking, this is going to be a very close game. Like the tip forwards are very strong as well, you know, so intriguing.
Absolutely, intriguing. And I suppose, you know, Waterford going into 3 from 3 didn't probably play, you know, as spectacular as they would have liked last weekend against Galway, but to eke out that win, that narrow win, without playing well, and another win in Welsh Park as well, that's good for momentum, I suppose, Andy.
Yeah, Waterford have a great record against Galway, so even when Galway have a very strong team out, you know what I mean, and Waterford probably would be perceived to have probably had a weak team out, they'd still managed to get a win, you know, so I think Liam Cahill is and Mike Beavens and the management team in general are doing a great job here. They're getting a lot of players through and getting them game time, but at the same time they're picking up those points, you know, and that's important for momentum. It's important for morale as well among the team. Everyone seems to be buying into it. A lot of players there. You know, it's good to see Jack Fagan getting a run there. Played very well for De La Salle in the championship last year. You know, he's a big man, well able to catch the ball, and I think, you know, there is a lot of emphasis put on short passing and, you know, in the games, in matches nowadays, whereas, you know, you need a few people that are able to actually win their own puck outs as well. And I think Liam Cahill would be of that mindset that, you know, we want to be able to play both types of game. We want to be able to win our own ball, but we also want to maintain possession through the short passing as well. So I think rather than going one way or the other, I think he wants to try and keep the two of them going, you know.
Absolutely, a valid point indeed. And I suppose great to see Austin Gleeson, you know, back to his brilliant best, I suppose, in patches last week, you know, driving out with that ball and the crowd were on their feet, and Jamie Byrne and Pádraig Mahoney, I suppose, to get game time into those, and I suppose they're the guys Waterford will want, I suppose, on the ball.
Yeah, like Austin Gleeson on his day, like, is another Ken McGrath, you know. He's a kind of a leader on that team, you know, and he can do things that other players only dream of doing, you know, like the long distance scores. You know, Austin will have no problem having a shot from 120 yards, and generally speaking, if he has time, he'll hit the target with it. But it's great to see him back. It's great to see Kevin Moore in there as well. That's a very good, strong half back line there. I know you have a debut there in Shane Ryan.
Yeah, big day for Shane.
So wish him the best of luck as well. But the midfield is very strong there with Jamie Byrne and Conor Gleeson, two clubmates. So you'd expect the two of them really to have a good partnership there in the middle third. Pádraig has been hurling well. He scored, I think, 4 points the last day, and he's going well on the frees. Again, you know, similar to what he does with Ballygunner, he kind of pulls the strings a little bit more. You'd like to hopefully see in Thurles tomorrow that he'll do a lot more moving around, drag the centre back out of position. And like Barry Heffernan is named as centre back for Tipperary. A very physical hurler, more of a man marker, I'd say, nearly than an actual Pádraig Maher who would sweep over and back a little bit, you know. So it'll be interesting to see, will he do a little bit more hurling or will he actually go toe to toe with Pádraig, you know.
Absolutely,
an interesting battle, you know.
Yeah, certainly will. Yeah, I suppose you don't want the likes of Pádraig Maher and Heffernan lording it there in the half back line, because that's, again, I suppose, gives Tipton a platform to get ball into the likes of Niall O'Mara, John McGrath, etc.
Yeah, well, I would fancy Jack Fagan on Alan Flynn. Alan wouldn't be as big, as tall as Jack, so that would be an area where Waterford can go at Tipperary. Centre back, I think if Pádraig pulls Barry Heffernan around, it'll create a little bit of doubt there, but definitely Pádraig Maher is the main man of that half back line, you know, and it'll be interesting to see how Michael Carney gets on him, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're just going to take a clip there from Liam Cahill, who was chatting to us during the week, saying the players are remaining very grounded thus far. Waterford going into tomorrow's game with 3 wins from 3.
We're never too anxious to get ahead of ourselves here now. Let's always kind of stay grounded, because it is as it is. It's only February. You know, there'll be very little talk about them 3 matches we've played today come you know, the Sunday evening of the 10th of May, if things don't materialise into what we think they might be. So look, it's positive, and it's definitely enjoyable, and getting a great response from players. But again, there's so much to come down the tracks. Like it's we'll just have to wait and see, Thomas.
Yeah, interesting words there from Liam. Obviously, Andy, you know him very, very well from your own time in Tipperary. He's trying to, I suppose, keep the players grounded. I suppose he's trying to remain grounded as well. But as you say, look, he's enjoying it and everyone is buying into it.
Absolutely, yeah. And I don't think he's given too much away.
No,
anyway.
they never do up in Tip, Andy, do they?
I don't think he answered the question at all there, really. But yeah, look, he's right. Like, you do have to keep your feet grounded, and at the end of the day, this is the league set up. At the end of the day, you're not going to get many people giving out about anyone in the during the league. It's when championship hits, that's when and the results don't go your way. That's when the expectations are high, and I suppose when those results don't go your way, that's when you hear about management and there's something going wrong or whatever. So look, everything's going right at the moment. Players are buying into it. This time last year, Waterford were going well as well in the league, and they got to a league final. So we have to remember that as well. So look, the players are there. I suppose. What I liked what they're doing is there's a great spread of different clubs being represented here, and I like to see that first of all, but also like what I like to see as well is that there's a mix of different types of players. That it's not just all small players or all ball players. There's ball winners there as well. There's players that'll do the hard work to get the ball out to the players who can score. So that's teamwork, and I think. It's a big part of what Liam and Mikey Beavens are about is making sure that the team are playing for each other as opposed to playing as a set of individuals, So it's the sum of the parts as opposed to the individual parts, So look, I'd be very happy. Like, it's good to see Shane Fives back there, cornerback. I think Conor Prunty at fullback is a very strong player, and Shane McNulty. So that's an experienced it's experienced full back line. Even though I know Shane McNulty probably hasn't got a lot of game time. He's still thereabouts on that panel for the last couple of years. He's an experienced player, and it'll be interesting to see how the three of those go against the three full forwards for Tipperary. You've Willie Connor, Seamus Callan, and Dylan Quirk. He's a relatively newcomer as well, Dylan Quirk. I heard of his father. I'm ashamed. Oh my God Almighty, he's making me feel old, as they say. But yeah, so like it's going to be an intriguing battle here. I know, like, Liam Sheedy will not want to lose to obviously Waterford, but definitely the fact that Liam Cahill, I suppose, is touted by many to be his successor. So, I suppose they'll want to be putting down a mark nice and early. So this is going to be a game where they'll be definitely biting it. And if I know Liam Cahill, he'll have these lads well wound up. Yeah,
I certainly will. Yeah, and he said, look, he's wearing that the Waterford colours now, the blue and white, Andy. So he's going to be going up doing his best. Absolutely. And I know people will be saying that you need to be primed for Munster Championship in May. But look, you're into the 1st of March tomorrow. I know the weather, hopefully, it's not supposed to be too bad tomorrow, but Thurles will be, it's always in good nick, and it should lead to an entertaining game.
Absolutely, and there is a lot to be said to get a win early in the league. I know even, and this only going back a good couple of years ago in league stages here in Waterford, in club hurling, Paul Power, Ballygunner hurler, former Ballygunner hurler, would always say, that when you go to play the likes of, when Ballygunner are playing the likes of Lismore and Mount Sion or whoever else, that it's nice to get a win in those league matches. A lot of people would say you would be showing your hand, whereas Paul's attitude was get a win early, and it kind of puts a bit of a doubt on their mind when you meet them in Championship. And I think that has a lot got to do with this here tomorrow as well, that Waterford getting a win early on Tip here, it breeds more confidence into this Waterford side, who I suppose over the last couple of years have kind of suffered a little bit on that front. And it puts a little bit of doubt into the Tipperary side, that they're not as good as they think they are. I know they're All-Ireland champions, but really, I suppose in many quarters, Limerick are still seen as the number one team in the country, and I think Tip feel a little bit that way as well, that they've kind of got a little bit of look at the draw, that Kilkenny beat them in the Championship last year, and Tip won the All-Ireland on the back of that. So I think Waterford are going in here in a good position here tomorrow. They're going out with a strong team, and when you do the matchups, you're looking at a very good game here. That it'll be plenty of fire in it. And as I said, I know Liam Cahill well. He'll have these lads well oiled up, fired up, going out the door.
Absolutely, indeed. Yeah, interesting battle in store. 2:00 tomorrow. I suppose putting you on the line. Then Andy, look, there's no trophies given out for the 1st of March, and obviously they'll be coming up against each other in Welsh Park on 10th of May. What an occasion that's going to be for the opening round of the Munster Championship. But how do you see tomorrow pan out? Is I suppose a loss isn't the be all and end all.
No, a loss. I actually think that this might be standing on the fence. I think Tipperary definitely need to win. because they've lost a couple of games now in this league.
And if they want to get into a quarter-final, they need to win as well.
Absolutely. So I think he'll be going as strong as he can. And, if Tip win it, they'll probably win it by a point or two. I think that, as you said there, even a loss for Waterford wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. But looking at the team that is named here, I wouldn't bet on Waterford not winning this game here tomorrow. Because and they've a couple of players that on the line as well that they can bring on. But the main thing here is they're going as strong as they can. They're going all out to win it. So if I was to call it, I would say a draw.
A draw. Absolutely. We'll have to leave you off with that one. Waterford and Tipperary is the George Corbett Skoda big match. Live from Thurles tomorrow. Kieran and Owen Murphy will be on air from 1:45, and Galtier and St. Ryan is of course in the All-Ireland Camogie final is at 1:30 tomorrow. Just got a note there as well. We are going to have Frank Ryan in studio. Waterford's clash with Carlow in the Alliance Football League will not be going ahead this evening. It's going to be rescheduled for tomorrow though at Fairfield and Croke Park. Our officials are going to give us the time very, very shortly indeed, so we'll be filling you in detail after the ad break. Andy, appreciate you dropping in.
Thanks,
and
Gavin.
very best of luck with Galtier tomorrow.
No
Hope you do.
Thanks a million. Yep.
Great stuff. Andy Maloney there. We're back after the break.
The secret to a great night's sleep takes only one endeavour. A visit to the Sleepwell event at Easy Living Interiors for our biggest savings ever. Luxury bedroom furniture and mattresses all reduced. And once you lie on our velvet bed frames, you're bound to be seduced. Get 2 free memory foam pillows worth €100 when you purchase a bed frame and mattress together. Limited time only. T's and C's apply. The Sleepwell event at Easy Living Interiors, Butlerstown Retail Park, Waterford and Wexford Retail Park. Sale now on
100,000 eyes, 200,000 wings and 300,000 legs, but not a sound. The Queen Bee gives the orders. It's now rest time for the army of bees before the next season gets underway. Rest that is vital to produce Mill Even's pure, real, quality, raw and unblended honey that you can trust. We may have black and amber stripes, but our honey is white and blue through and through with plenty of gold. Isn't that right, Joe Goff?
Yes, and fueled me with enough natural energy to win 7 world athletic titles.
Mill Even honey. Delightful honey, true to our name.
Catty Barry's Bar. With hot coffee, fresh pastries and a warm reception you'll only find in a real Irish bar. Live music 4 nights a week from Wednesday right through. And probably the best pint in town. Catty Barry's Bar. At the heart of the Viking Triangle, where your night begins and ends.
It's a leap year, and February's extra day is a Saturday. So Kildare Village is going to make it an extraordinary weekend. Extraordinary surprises and delights throughout the village. Extraordinary activities for the kids, and maybe an extraordinary lunch or coffee and pastry for you. So make the most of our extraordinary weekend. Kildare Village has Kildare Village. Something extraordinary every day. Visit kildarevillage.com for activity schedules and some of our surprises and delights.
Harvey Norman is celebrating a leap year with not 1, but 4 days of deals. Get leap year savings on appliances, technology, furniture and bedding now. With up to €400 off laptops, smartphones from €99, up to 20% off coffee machines, up to 25% off washing machines, plus many more deals in store and online. And we're checking and matching all competitors' prices, so why shop anywhere else? Harvey Norman leap year savings, 4 days only, must end Sunday.
WLR's On the Ball.
With Maleven Honey, feel the energy with raw and unblended honey that you can trust. See Maleven.com.
Yeah, you're very welcome back to the programme On the Ball here on WLR. The early kick-off in the Premier League is Brighton against Crystal Palace. That's just about to kick off in the next few minutes. No Shane Duffy there for Brighton. McCarthy is included in the Palace team for that particular game. We'll be keeping an eye on those games as we go through the afternoon. Now the Waterford football clash with Carlow due to go ahead in Fairfield tonight in the Alliance Football League. That game has been postponed. We've just been told there in the past couple of minutes. I know they were looking at the pitch up there. Frankie Ryan, the Waterford selector, joins us in studio now. Thanks for dropping in, Frank.
No worries, Gavin.
I suppose, Frank, that news just came through there in the past couple of minutes. I know it's probably, I suppose, the amount of rain that's after falling, it's probably not in good nick, and I suppose with the rain that's due to fall this afternoon, so I know it's not ideal for ye as selectors or players.
No, it's not ideal, but at the end of the day, the players want to play games, but the first and foremost thing is the safety of players, and I think probably looking back on the Wexford game, we know that strong comments from Paul Galvin came out after the game that the teams shouldn't be coming out for the second half. Probably the right decision was made, and there's an orange weather warning for wind tonight, so maybe that was a factor too. Maybe the pitch was playable, but the wind was the issue. But as players and selectors, you prepare the team during the week to get a game on the weekend. But I mean, look, powers to be called it off, so we're just waiting for a refixture, whether it'll be on tomorrow or we have a free weekend next weekend. They might put it in next weekend.
Next weekend.
So we'll have to wait and see what the powers to be do.
Absolutely. And look, it is, I suppose, with supporters travelling and the Carlow team coming down the bus later on, you have to, I suppose, take these things into consideration as well.
Yeah, there's a lot involved. Like, I think the referee is from Cork as well, so there's travelling on board there. As I said earlier, it's the safety of everybody. Really, it's not just the players. And if you do recall, there was a couple of sheets of metal fell off the stand a couple of years ago. So anything can happen in the wind that's out there.
Absolutely, I've had a point indeed, and I suppose we can't really preview it too much, but we might just look back at the Sligo game last weekend, Frank, and I was delighted myself when that result came through last weekend, because I know what you're putting in behind the scenes, and you weren't given much of a chance going up there, but obviously within your own camp you were quietly confident.
Yeah, quietly confident is the right word to use. I think there's a little bit of ambition in this team, even we lost an awful lot of players, brought in I think 11 or 12. We have a couple of under-20s after coming in from your squad now joining, and that gives the lads a boost. It gives them a lift. There's 4 more bodies in training, competition for places, so that gives them a boost. But last week now everything went off to a T. Our preparation was right. We done everything properly. We stayed close to the ground, about 8-9 minutes away from the ground. We done all our rubbing, our stretching, all our taping, the whole lot. Half of our warm up was done in the hotel, which was just perfect. Go in and put on the boots. It was a bad old wind and rain again, but we didn't have to go out in it too much until the game started, so we were delighted with that. And we asked the players to throw off the shackles and see could he, just go for it. And in fairness to them, they went for it.
Absolutely, yeah. 12 to 16 points. It was a cracking game, and of course, it was well documented. I suppose that she just 19 players, I think, available on the day.
19 fit players, but we just put things in perspective. There's a lot of lads you can't take a chance on them. There's 3 lads out with concussion. Yeah. You just cannot take a chance on concussion this day and age.
It's too risky, isn't it? Really,
it's too risky. But in fairness to the lads that wasn't togged out, that they done a session in the gym that morning, so it wasn't a wasted exercise for them. But as I said, 19 fit players, 2 goalkeepers included in that. We're very limited to your substitutions, and you had to be wary and clever, and timing of them was crucial as well. But in fairness, the starting 15, they all performed, so we were nearly at the stage, do we throw someone on or do we not? It was only just to freshen it up things more so than anything else,
Absolutely, yeah. It was brilliant to see, Sean O'Donovan, Dylan Gowrie with the 2 goals. Tara Corcoran kicked 2 late scores as well. So everyone, as you say, Frank, is buying into what you're trying to do.
Yeah, what we ask our half-back line is to get into the opposition 45 at least 3 times in every game. At least 3 times. And we saw Shawnee, Dara O'Casey started the move for Shawnee's goal, has worked out through the back, and Shawnee went up, and the last fella you want on the end of the ball in the 14-yard box is Shawnee O'Donovan, because he could go anywhere. But he just got a bit lucky there last Sunday, and
I'm sure the Medellin that gang won't be happy to hear that now.
Look, Shawnee has a big heart. He's one of these, like Shawnee. Everyone is looking up to Shawnee as a leader. Shawnee's only in the panel. This is the only second year in the panel.
Amazing, isn't it?
He's after stepping up to the plate big time, both on the field and off the field. His leadership skills are second to none. But in saying that, these young guys that are coming through, there's something different about them than the normal player that we have down through the last couple of years. So they're all stepping up to the plate, and I think they're all enjoying it, and they're all buying into it, as you said. And I think if the win last week really it gave them the belief, geez, what the lads are looking for. That they could be right in what they're saying, do this hard runs and make the run off the shoulder. So it's happening.
It certainly is, yeah. Huge confidence boost. I know Benji mentioned it during the week as well, that it was this time last year the win over Wexford arrived, and in your 4th game, and it just kind of drove things on kind of from there. Confidence was upped, and people came into training next week. Then they were looking forward to it and things like that, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, there was a good boost in training now this week. As I said, there was 4 new lads in, and that gave everyone a lift. But there was a different buzz in it. Spirits were high. We had 2 points on the board. We're looking forward to this weekend. Got all our matchups done right, and we're hoping to play, and hopefully it might go ahead tomorrow. You never know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so depending on that, anything we hear, we'll keep you posted. And I suppose Waterford and Carlow generally over the years there hasn't been very much to choose between the teams. They just lie above the horse on 3 points. So you'd see this as a winnable game at home.
We look at every game as a winnable game, you know. And I suppose if you look back on the record, there was only one game we didn't perform in this year. That was in Wicklow, and I think they beat us by 5 or 6 points. The rest of them were only a kick of a ball in it, and we performed for 30 minutes, 35 minutes in some of them. If we can get a complete performance, we'll be a match to match with anybody.
Yeah. It's just getting that consistency, I suppose, isn't it, over the...
Yeah, it's just getting... Like, the lads have to realise you have to play for 70 minutes. You just can't do it for the first half. Like, even the McGrath Cup, we were down in Clare, we were 4 points up going in at half-time. And within a minute and a half, we were 4 points down. A swing of 8 points. So you have to produce it for the whole 70, 75 minutes, whatever's on the clock. And I think that's where we're learning. We're beginning to learn that the game, we have to put it to bed, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. Get those scores, I suppose, and I suppose drive things on. And the tightness of Division 4, I know it's alluded to every year. Frank, like you look at Limerick, you know, from the McGrath Cup success, they're really kind of driving high. And I suppose, you know, like London put it up to them in their league encounter. So teams taking points off each other, very hard division to get out of.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. There's no easy game. You know, you can say, like, we lost our first 3. We could have won in 2 out of the 3. Obviously, we won bet Sligo last weekend, but I mean, you look at the London result. Who would have seen that one coming? You know, London were at the bottom of the pile, ran them very, very close, and a late winner from Limerick. But I mean, anyone can go out and turn in a performance, and you can beat anyone on any given day. But that's just shows the toughness to get out. Like, there's 8 teams that are trying to get out, get promoted. You know, and that is a tough ask. And I know we put all our emphasis on getting out of the division. But I mean, if you don't have a bit of luck at the start of the year, or what way the fixtures are made out for you, you could be in trouble from the start, you know. Yeah,
a lot hinges on that, I suppose. Yeah, and I suppose, look, 4 rounds to go now. Obviously, 2 games, 3 rounds to go, 2 at home, of course. London to come as well, and then you head to Antrim for the final round. And I suppose you're looking forward to Limerick then in the championship. So your aim, Frank, now for the remainder of the league, say.
Well, I suppose we'd be hoping to win our 4 or 3 games that are left. They're not unwinnable, if you know what I mean. Tonight would have been a tougher task for our lads, because Carlow are probably 4 or 5 years down the road of development, like Brendan Murphy, Sean Murphy, Broderick, and all these lads. You know, they're seasonal pros in the 4th division. As I said, we have 11 or 12 fellas after coming into the squad, and they're men, but they're not grown men as compared to the Brendan Murphys and these guys from different counties, you know. But they're learning their trade very, very quickly, and they're enjoying it while they're learning it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I see it after a few nights out in Carriganore. The bond you have amongst the squad is second to none. And, you know, I know there's been a lot of talk about football, and, you know, I suppose people not caring about it or not putting it into it. But, you know, what those lads and what you're putting into it is second to none, in fairness.
Yeah, we're putting in the same effort as everything. But people talk about the underage structure of Gaelic football in Waterford. The hurling team underage structure haven't won anything for a long time either, and I don't think people remarks on that. You know, if Liverpool's academy is not going very well, but they're not looking to pull their first team, you know. So there's a roundabout ways to get at things, you know. I think our Bourne and Oga are beginning to, our Daisha Oga as it's called now, they're beginning to work behind the scenes, but that's going to take time to come into fruition. But hopefully we get a few footballers and a few hurlers. But we haven't been setting the world alight to hurling either, so maybe it's an overall look that's probably needed, rather than saying, as someone said, get a knife and puncture all the balls, you know what I mean? Maybe it's an overall look of the way we do things at underage level in the county. It probably have to be looked at. If you remember, a couple of years ago, Cork made a big drive, and I think they won the Tony Forrestal, the under-15, the Tip Co-op. They won them all in 1 year. So, you know, you have to put in the groundwork.
And grassroots level.
Way below grassroots level, you know, and then hopefully... But that don't guarantee that you win an All-Ireland or a successful going forward. We won a minor in under 21 the last couple of years, and we thought next step is the senior.
Doesn't happen like that.
Limerick won 3 All-Irelands in a row, and they didn't win a senior for 7 or 8 years after. Do you know what I mean? So it's a process. It's a process.
It certainly is, yeah. An interesting one indeed. Well, just to note as well, in case you didn't hear, Waterford and Carlow in the National Football League scheduled for tonight in Fairfield at 7 o'clock will now not be going ahead. Croke Park are going to issue the refixture details. Could be tomorrow, could be next week, but as soon as we get any information, we'll keep you posted. So you've a night off tonight, Frank. I don't know, what are you going to do? Or any plans? I know Matt was looking forward to the trip to Fairfield. Our trip to Sligo was cancelled as well.
So there must be no basketball on, are there?
Oh, there is. 5 o'clock in Kilkenny. I don't know whether you might.
No, we won't go to that one. But the only good thing about Matt is he's good at hopping balls. All right, Matt.
Frank Ryan, many thanks. That's Frankie Ryan there. We will be previewing that basketball game. We'll be looking at the soccer, and also Mark Phillips will fill us in on the weekend's racing action. Stay tuned.
Morning, Orla. What a party. Well done.
Thanks, Tom. I didn't
Nothing really, just book the venue. Hey Orla, what a summer night out. Best ever. That was nothing, just book the venue.
Orla, the food, the music, the crack. What a night.
Just booked the venue.
Orla, having the barbecue in the garden. Pure genius.
The best party nights are at the Riverside Cottage. Just call Bernie on 051 873 082. We'll organise everything. You just deal with the compliments.
100,000 eyes, 200,000 wings and 300,000 legs. But not a sound. The queen bee gives the orders. It's now rest time for the army of bees before the next season gets underway. Rest that is vital to produce Mill Even's pure, real, quality, raw and unblended honey that you can trust. We may have black and amber stripes, but our honey is white and blue through and through with plenty of gold. Isn't that right, Joe Goff?
Yes, and fueled me with enough natural energy to win 7 world athletic titles.
Mill Even honey. Delightful honey, true to our name.
Minogue Furniture Dungarvan are open 4 years. To celebrate, we're holding a 4-day anniversary sale with massive price reductions. So everything, that's right, everything in store is reduced. 30, 50, 70% off. Hurry, 4 days only. Minogue Furniture Dungarvan 4th anniversary sale now on, ends Sunday 6 p.m.
Take the leap this weekend into massive savings at the Kelly and Dollard Leap Year event. Make the most of an extra 24 hours to shop with once and 4 year savings this Friday, Saturday and Sunday only. No need to leap from store to store to find the best bargain. We have massive savings in washing machines, top brand TVs, IT and tech, kitchen appliances and lots more. You'll be leaping for joy with the incredible savings. But hurry, Kelly and Dollard Leap Year event must end 6 p.m. Sunday.
WLR's On the Ball.
With Milleven Honey, it's a winning way to start your day. See Milleven.com.
Yes, indeed. You're very welcome back to the programme On the Ball here on WLR. There has been an early goal as well across channel in the Premier League. Brighton and Crystal Palace is the early kick-off there. We'll bring you up to speed on that one very very shortly indeed. I know there's a big huge South East coaching workshop taking place out there in the WIT arena as well this afternoon. Hope that goes well for all involved. Fantastic lineup out there. We are going to focus on basketball now for the next while, and WIT Wildcats, Waterford Wildcats face a crunch game this evening in the penultimate round of the Women's Super League. South East neighbours Marble City Hawks play host to the local side who are coming off the back of a poor run of form. They need to win their remaining 2 games if they have any chance of making the playoffs. It begins this evening. Huge game down there in Kilkenny. It tips off at 5, and earlier on I got a chance to catch up with John Hayes, the general manager with the Wildcats, who says there's a lot on the line for both sides going into this evening's South East derby.
Yeah, a lot at stake for both actually, because the Hawks are in serious relegation problems and they would love to get the vital win over the noisy neighbour, so to speak. But at the same time, from our own perspective, it's a crucial game. We must win tonight to have any chance of the playoffs. If we do win, then it's down to the final game of the season, the following Sunday in Brunel down in Cork. So it's all to play for, in spite of the fact that we've had a pretty dismal run. Even though we played well, we just came up against better teams in the last couple of weeks.
Absolutely, yeah. Not for the want of trying, as you say, but results haven't gone their way, John. So I suppose maybe confidence going into this one might be a bit low in the camp, but I'm sure the importance of the game will rise the girls.
Yeah, absolutely, it will. You know, there's our old favourite American Katie Foxes, but the Hawks for the last couple of years, and she's still one of the best Americans ever came to play with Wildcats, and she'd love to rattle a few of our old friends, and likewise our 2 Americans, Jazz Walker and Maria Pallarino, they're coming to their last few games with the club, and they'd like to leave good memories behind them. So all to play for, and of course we have our younger ones like Abby Flynn is really on fire. Picked up the Park Hotel Award for January, which congratulations to her from everybody in the club. It's a great honour for the club, as well as obviously Abby herself. So I think things quite honestly are pretty good in the club, with the younger ones playing well. Picked up the Under-20 Cup, which is massive for us going forward, and hopefully we can get this win tonight, and obviously we'll take one at a time, and hopefully the following weekend and away to Brunel.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure you're just approaching it one game at a time, John. Go up to Kilkenny later on this evening and perform, I suppose, to your capabilities, and on the night hopefully take care of the victory, and obviously that's huge then for confidence heading to Cork next week if you could pull it off this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. And, there's a lot of supporters travelling, so we've the best supporters, and I know every club says that, but we have full house every time, which most people don't have, and we're the envy of a lot of clubs in that respect around. So there'll be a contingent travelling up the road, and hopefully they'll come back happy, and we'll have those crucial points in the bag, and look forward to the following week.
Absolutely, yeah, it'd be huge. Have you full deck, John, to pick for going into this evening?
We have indeed, for the first time in a long time. We've had numerous injuries the last 4 or 5 weeks, but tonight it's a full deck, as you say, so the guns are loaded and we're ready to rock.
Great stuff. I'm sure that Wildcats roar, John, will be heard down there in Kilkenny come 5 o'clock this evening.
You can bet your life, and so the other cats roar will be heard, so it should be a great occasion. It always is, actually. Like local derbies bring along a bragging rights, and it's not just all about getting the points. There's that extra dimension to it as well,
Absolutely, yeah. And I suppose to wrap on it, John, obviously coming into a critical stage, business end of the season, win tonight, it really gives the girls confidence going to Cork next week and try and get into the playoff spots. That was your aim, I'm sure, at the start of the season.
Yeah, it's a matter of must win. There's no other results that's of any use to us, so it's a must win game.
Yeah, there you have it indeed. A must win for the Waterford Wildcats against Marble City Hawks. South East Derby in the Women's Super League this evening. That tips off at 5 in Kilkenny. And in Division 1 of the Men's National League, best of luck to the WRT Vikings. They make the trip to the capital for a clash against Talca Rovers. That one is underway in Dublin at 6 this evening. In the Premier League, no goals to report again in the early kick-off. 16 minutes on the clock at the Amex. It's Brighton 0, Crystal Palace 0. At 3 then, Bournemouth welcome Chelsea. Newcastle welcome Burnley. To Tyneside, it's West Ham against Southampton. And then the late game sees runaway leaders Liverpool visit Vicarage Road, and they take on Watford. And I can tell you, Leeds United have the lead. That's good news. You can see I was going to pump for that one. They've taken the lead in the early kick-off in the Championship against Hull City, ailing there after 5 minutes. So could this be finally the year where Leeds return to the promised land in the Premier League? 14 minutes gone, Hull City 0, Leeds United 1. And the Waterford football game against Carlow, I can tell you that has been postponed this evening. It's now going to take place tomorrow afternoon in Fairfield with a 2 o'clock throw-in, so just bear that in mind. Waterford and Carlow refix for tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock in the Alliance Football League. Racing with Mark Phillips after the break.
Waterford Credit Union and Waterford Treasures would like you to become a tourist in your own city, Ireland's oldest city, Waterford, with free entry to the award-winning Medieval Museum and the beautiful Georgian Bishop's Palace. Free every weekend during the month of February for family, friends and visitors, all courtesy of your local Waterford Credit Union. Waterford CU is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
100,000 eyes, 200,000 wings and 300,000 legs, but not a sound. The Queen Bee gives the orders. It's now rest time for the army of bees before the next season gets underway. Rest that is vital to produce Mill Even's pure, real, quality, raw and unblended honey that you can trust. We may have black and amber stripes, but our honey is white and blue through and through with plenty of gold. Isn't that right, Joe Goff?
Yes, and fueled me with enough natural energy to win 7 world athletic titles.
Mill Even honey. Delightful honey, true to our name.
Join the switching revolution at Carphone Warehouse today. Thousands of people across the country have switched with us and made massive savings on their mobile TV and broadband. We've got exclusive deals like the iPhone 7 for free on a 30-euro month plan, or the iPhone XR for free on a 60-euro month plan when you switch to 3, but only when you switch at Carphone Warehouse. Get into one of our 82 Carphone Warehouse shops near you and join the switching revolution today. T's and C's apply. Offer subject to availability and 24-month contract.
WLR's On the Ball.
With Malivan Honey. Fuel your sport with pure, real quality honey that you can trust. See malivan.com.
Yes, indeed. You're very welcome back to the final part of this afternoon's programme. Mark Phillips joins us in the studio now, our racing correspondent. Afternoon, Mark.
Afternoon, Gavin.
During the week, Mark, anything?
Yeah, plenty happening. There's always something. There's never a week goes by without something happening during the week. Leighton Aspel, an Irish jockey, 43, worked all his life in the UK. He retired during the week. He was a very solid jockey, probably not one of the bigger names in the weigh room, but he had 2 Grand National victories to his name in a horse called Pinot de Rey and Many Clouds. As a jump jockey, he was one of the lucky ones. He never really had very bad injuries, but he's got out anyway. He's 43, so we wish him well. The coronavirus, Cheltenham, Punchestown, Aintree.
In doubt?
I wouldn't say in doubt, but I'd say it's on everybody's mind at the moment. I mean, you saw the way they called off the Ireland-Italy rugby match.
Yeah, and I see even the Serie A games in Italy and soccer as well have been
there would be 65,000 each day at Cheltenham, with a mix of Irish, English, French, Americans. They come from all over for it. So look, as they say at the moment, they said it's going ahead, that there's no plans to do anything, with it, to cancel it or anything. Could it go ahead behind closed doors? Possibly. But it wouldn't be the same, would it, really? You know what I mean? Even watching a match a soccer match behind closed doors.
A lot of the Irish wouldn't be happy anyway. They're going to make their way, I'd say, over,
Like this weekend now, for example, racing in Hong Kong and Japan is going ahead, but nobody at the races. It's behind closed doors as such, no
just
spectators.
Running it off anyway, I suppose,
So look, we'll just have to wait and see. Hopefully, look, this thing won't take grip, but I can, every time you listen to the news, there's something that's popping up somewhere else. I was still only one in Ireland, I think. Is it, Gavin, up in the north?
I think so, up in the north. I heard that the other day.
So hopefully it stays that way.
Please God, yeah.
Richard Johnson, who's the current champion or jump jockey in the UK, he broke his arm there just after Christmas, and he returned this week 37 days later after breaking his arm, and he's after riding 2 or 3 winners already this week. So they're really tough men, aren't they?
That's some recovery, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a very valuable racing taking place this weekend in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. It's the first time lady jockeys are being allowed to ride in that particular country, and one of them had a winner during the week, like Ryan Moore and Frankie Dettori are over there as well. They actually blocked people coming in Saudi Arabia, but by a royal decree they were able to get the jockeys in for this particular race meeting there this weekend. Unda So, who was a top class horse for Willie Mullins, he was retired after picking up an injury this week.
I see that yesterday. A lot of
well-wishers coming through.
Super
horse. He obviously missed his intended engagement in Cheltenham. He won over 1.5 million in prize money, which is staggering, but he was a top class horse. Conor Houlihan, the latest of the Houlihan brothers.
Yes.
Sean and Niall, we know about, are well established in the UK, but Conor is over there now as well. He went over, I think, in the autumn to join very good point-to-point yard in Will Biddick, and he's 21 and he had a double this last weekend at a point-to-point meeting in Cornwall in the UK. So
super.
Conor's starting to make a name for himself now, and
he's
hopefully
catching up on the other two lads, and plenty of competition, isn't there?
I don't know of. I was trying to think this morning. Do I know of any 3 other brothers are riding in a country as jockeys? I just couldn't think of it at the moment. Now, the Carbys would have been there for a long while, but
anyone knows, give us an text.
To be riding in the UK, like, it's great. We spoke, I think it was the last week or the week before, about this horse that was stopped from racing, the Tartan Spartan. Remember, he was supposed to be so badly injured, he was sent off to the Knackery Yard, but the chap that was taken there said he'd take a chance on him, hopefully get him back to full fitness.
Right.
The original owner went to the High Court trying to get him banned from racing. He did for a week or two, but the High Court have lifted that ban this week. So look, keep an eye out for a horse called the Tartan Spartan. He'll be trained by Philip Fenton. We had our preview night last night, Gavin.
Yes, in Revolution. Yeah. How did it all pan out?
Went very well, yeah. Matt owes me a big favour.
Yeah, of course he was, I suppose, come back. Well, at least Matt came back in one piece. I don't think he picked any other. Well, picked up some sort of it wasn't the coronavirus.
So Matt was supposed to MC it for the night, but unfortunately he wasn't. He was a little bit under the weather, as they say.
Yeah.
Back from his holidays.
And putting it mildly.
Yeah, so I stood in for him as the MC, so I didn't take my place on the panel, but there was plenty of people on the panel to keep everybody interested there. It went very well. It was a good night. It was a bit of a crack as well, you know what I mean? It wasn't all serious stuff.
Yeah, you need that as well, don't you? Absolutely.
You would do, yeah. And look, there was plenty of opinions about the race and how they're going to go in Cheltenham, but look, it remains to be seen. Next Tuesday week, it kicks off.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. It's only around the corner, isn't it?
Yeah, so hopefully everything will go ahead for it. Now, looking forward to the weekend.
Weekend's action,
the football match was off.
Yeah, anything on the racing front?
Navan is off now today. They called it off actually yesterday.
Yeah.
They felt that it was a bit dangerous for people to be travelling and things like that.
Yeah, I think up that side as well. It's an orange as well, an orange alert, you know.
So Navan unfortunately was called off yesterday for today. Now the card will be run on this coming Tuesday afternoon, so at least there are people. They have to make fresh entries for the meeting, but at least but I'd say you'd probably find a lot of the same horse that were entered will run there again. Racing in England, Newbury is off this afternoon as well. That was called off this morning. A lot of water on the track there, but we do have racing on ITV at Doncaster and Kelso. A horse called Definitely Red. He holds a number of engagements this afternoon, but I think his best chance of winning is in the listed chase. They're due off at 3:22 at Kelso. Kelso is up on the Scottish borders, as they call it. Yeah,
nippy up there. You want to hat and gloves up there today.
It's a fine course up there, a testing course, big galloping track, and it should suit Definitely Red. Racing tomorrow, then, as we stand, racing will go ahead at Leopardstown up there. It's a 2 p.m. start. The Henry de Bromma trained poker party, winner of the Kerry National in Listowel, has plenty of weight in the feature Greybeat chase at 4:40, but hopefully he can produce another solid effort. I didn't see him amongst the entries for Cheltenham. Henry's going to keep him to a home campaign, and hopefully he can do the business there. His poker party is owned by, I think it's Robcore own him. They're big owners that have come in from the UK in the last couple of years.
Fairly prolific, so I suppose
in
there.
Yeah, so hopefully poker party. Yeah, he's a horse. I think you have to ride him patiently. Rachel does a very good job, keeps him out the back and kind of brings him into the race slowly but surely, and hopefully he'll run well tomorrow at Leopardstown. Greyhound racing tonight is in Kilcone Park. We have a 10 race card up there. We have the 4 first round heats of the Retired Greyhound Trust unraced competition. We run unraced stakes when I say unraced stakes, it means for young greyhounds that have never raced before.
Okay.
They all have to have 2 trials on their books, 2 and 3 dog trials. So the form's a little bit in and out because I've never really seen them. I'm only going on the trial information I have so far. So
it's hard to predict, so is it?
It is, yeah. But you always get plenty of interest in them because new dogs coming along, And I'm sure we'll have a couple of fast winners there tonight, and they could be sold for the next round of the competition. And we'll also take in racing from Shelbourne Park in Dublin, 10 races up there, including 3 heats of the Easter Cup. It's the second round heats, and the winner of that event next week will get a first prize of €25,000. So plenty of nice prize money on offer.
Yeah, be nothing wrong with it indeed. As you say, Countdown to Cheltenham around the corner. I know there was one in the Uluru as well last night.
That's right, and there was one in Dungarvan.
Lady Bell Thursday night, I believe, as well. So
they're always well attended.
Yeah, they are, in fairness.
There's great interest in them. Just an exchange of ideas, and you're like there was no horse that all the panel agreed on last night would win, but that's what you want, because if everybody agreed, it'd be very, very boring, And a lot of the bookmakers now are going, you can win back a horse at this stage for next week, and if the horse doesn't run, you still get your money back. So that's attractive to people, knowing that because there's a number of horses doubly entered in races over there. They obviously won't run in 2 races. But trainers keep their options open probably until next weekend, when the final declarations will be true, and people will have a chance to study in them next Monday. So I'm sure there's plenty of people going across. It's a great week. I've been across myself twice.
Yeah, cracking week.
Yeah, a lot of big crowds there, 65,000 people. But the atmosphere is absolutely fantastic, especially when you get an Irish winner, So
absolutely,
Irish horses have done well in the last couple of years there over there. So hopefully we can do well again this year.
Let's hope
that trend will be soft.
Yeah, let's hope that trend continues, as they say. No doubt. Mark, as always, many thanks and well done as well to all in Revolution.
Thanks, Gavin.
With that event last night. Interesting, just looking at Twitter there, Kerry's game with Mayo in the Football League called off this evening. Kerry supporters, some of them are actually on a bus on the way up to Mayo today. So again,
the long
at least
trip,
they made the
isn't
decision it is, but they've rescheduled for tomorrow now. And
right. So will they keep going on the bus?
Giving out about the short. I don't know, maybe make it an overnight in Mayo, who knows, but I know it's up that side, because obviously Sligo and Waterford in the soccer was postponed as well due to that weather warnings. So I think correct call has been made. Many thanks, Mark. And that's where we wrap up this afternoon's programme. Yeah, thanks indeed to all my guests on this afternoon's show. It's Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Crystal Palace 0 in the Premier League. Just in case you didn't hear, Waterford and Carlow in the National Football League has been postponed until tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock in Frahar. That's the Dacia against Carlow. Waterford tip is live thanks to George Corbett Skoda, and the Hurling League tomorrow. Kieran and Owen are on air from 1:45. And we also wish the very best of luck to the Gold Tier Camogie team, who take on St Rynagh's of Offaly in the All-Ireland Intermediate Final in Croker tomorrow at 1:30. Leeds still have the lead against Hull City in the early kick-off in the English Championship. Do indeed stay tuned to WLR for the rest of the afternoon. We'll keep you updated on all the sport. Timmy is standing by with the Saturday Jukebox, and Sinead is on the way with your 1 o'clock news and sport. From myself, Gavin Whelan, enjoy the remainder of your weekend. Stay safe in the storm, and I'll talk to you later. 100